Hare Krishna. So in this video, we'll go through the entire chapter 12 as a summary. Devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is derived from the word bhaja. Bhaja means to revere, to adore, to worship. Whom do we revere? Whom do we adore? And whom do we worship? Someone whose qualities are much superior than ours. Someone whose qualities are worth emulating. Someone who's an example for everyone. Who's of value, who's good, who does good. These are the things that will inspire others to revere or to adore such person. So when we think of a god or a guru, we think of them as a supreme most manifestation of the highest virtue that a human can ever exhibit or practice. Once among the conference of people, they were trying to establish who is the greatest. So one person stood up and said, sky is the greatest, it's everywhere. So the other person stood up and said, no, sky is not the greatest. Cloud covers the sky. So cloud is the greatest. So another person stood up and said, wind moves the cloud. So wind is the greatest. So another person stood up and said, but the wind can be stopped by the mountains. So mountains are the greatest. So another person stood up and said, the mountains are held up by the earth. So the earth is the greatest. So finally a learned person stood up and said, but who is holding the earth? God is holding the earth. So God is the greatest. But then God appears and God said, no, actually, I am held in the heart of the devotees because devotees are holding me. The devotees are even greater than me. In this way, in chapter 12, Krishna explaining the glories of the devotees. Chapter 12 is the shortest chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but it contains the essential wisdom which warms the heart of the reader. What's the acronym of chapter 12? God himself. Godhead essentially means the supreme controller. Options. Here we'll cover more cherished aspects of God's personality. And devotees' disposition. Disposition of devotees who are fully in love with him. Godhead. Arjuna is asking the question that which are more perfect? Option 1, the ones who are always engaged in your devotional service, or option 2, the one who worship impersonal Brahman? This is the question Arjuna is asked in shloka number 1, and in shloka number 2, straight away Krishna is answering this question. Krishna said, those who fix their mind in my personal form, the ones who worship me, my original form, they are the most perfect. There is no ambiguity here. Krishna made it very clear. After that, Krishna is commenting on the impersonal feature of the Lord. Worship of the impersonal feature of the Lord is very difficult. Meditation on such a feature of the Lord is very difficult, and to advance on this path of impersonal worship is extremely troublesome. Advancement on this path is very feeble. And at the end of the section, shloka number 6 and 7, Krishna is saying how he is the swift deliverer of his devotees who are engaged in his devotional service. Swift deliverer of what? This entire ocean of birth and death. Mityu sansara sagarat. The one who are fully engaged in the service of the Lord, their mind, intelligence, body, all their senses, everything. For them, Krishna is the swift deliverer from ocean of birth and death. Options. In this section, Krishna is speaking about something very, very important. about the different levels of progressive stages of bhakti or devotion, from the topmost to the lowest one. So what is the topmost one? In shloka number 8 he said, fixing the mind and intelligence on Krishna all the time. Someone might say, hang on, that's too difficult, Krishna. Krishna says, no problem then. Can't do this? Refer to shloka number 9, where he said, try to follow the regulated principles of devotional service and try to remember Krishna. Again, someone might say that is too difficult for me too. At my level, I cannot do it. Then Krishna says, okay, if that is the problem, because the first two is more about the internal senses. Krishna is talking about how to engage our internal senses, especially the master of all senses, which is the mind on him. Now Krishna is saying, don't worry, now engage your external senses. And that he's mentioning in shloka number 10, where he's saying that work for me. That is what is the essence of this shloka. We might be working, we might be earning, so we might keep our body and soul together, so we can maintain this body and family and so on. So he said, okay, the same work, dovetail towards Krishna. Part away with your hard-earned money in Krishna's service. So in this say, Krishna is saying, work for me. So after this, someone might say, but I'm in a very difficult situation. I don't have a support from my family to practice. I don't have any interest to practice Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is saying, okay, then at least don't enjoy all the fruits for yourself. Do something, do some social service. In the last shloka, shloka number 12, Krishna is talking about the progressive stage. If these cannot be done, then first thing is cultivate knowledge, i.e. go to the Jnana Marg, Gyan Marg. If that is difficult, go to Ashtanga Yoga. Practice meditation. In fact, Krishna is saying meditation is better than cultivate knowledge. After that, Krishna said, better than meditation is Bhagavat Arpita Nishkam Karma Yoga. That is, offering the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this section, Krishna talks about the progressive stages of bhakti. D. Devotee's disposition. In this section, Krishna is glorifying transcendental qualities of his devotees. And at the end of every shloka, Krishna is saying, such a devotee is very, very dear to me. So let's skim through these qualities. The one who is equal to in both happiness and distress, one who is self-controlled, one who is determined, never put anyone into difficulties, or does not react when he is putting into difficulties. He's expert, he's pure and free from any pains. He never laments nor desires, renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. The one who is always free from contamination. He's equipoised both in honor and dishonor, fame in fame, and who is fixed in knowledge and engaged in devotional service. And at the end, shloka number 20, Krishna is saying, anyone or those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and engage themselves with faith, such people are very, very dear to me. So in this way, Krishna ends the entire section of Bhakti Yoga, which you all know it started from chapter number 7 onwards. Now, Krishna is going to take us through a very, very wonderful and informative section of Bhagavad Gita, which speaks about Jnana Yoga, or knowledge, wisdom, or how one can achieve bhakti through Jnana Yoga. So let's start. That starts with a wonderful section from my next video onwards. Hare Krishna.